America's heroes. I really appreciate it. And I want to thank the staff for being here as well. I also want to thank you for your quick response with regard to our veterans at Bay Pines. I appreciate that so very much. Mr. Secretary, I have a couple questions. Do you have a legislative proposal to improve or expand the program?
The current law has the criteria of one activity of daily living in the law, so it does not give us the ability to change that criteria. Okay,
can we work with you on a legislative proposal?
Absolutely.
Okay, it's very important to us. Again, we want to make sure we get that as soon as possible to Congress, and we want to work together to get this done, because I am also a supporter of the pre-9/11 veterans, that they need the care. And also, I have a proposal, a concept, a hero's ranch concept that I'd like to discuss with you as well.
Okay.
Again, the veterans should have a choice. But if they don't have the caregiver available, qualified caregiver, I don't want to see them in a nursing home. So again, it's a quality of care issue. All right. Couple questions here. Again, in your testimony, you mentioned that VA heard concerns about the inconsistent implementation of the program, which led to the strategic review in April 2017. What were the immediate actions that were taken in response to those concerns?
We looked at the policies and procedures and refined them. We then went out and did training for all 350 caregiver support coordinators across the country. We met with caregiver groups and their families and veterans and talked to them about the program. We published a new website which had clarity on it. And when we rolled it out, there was greater consistency in decision-making, as evidenced by a 20% reduction in revocations around the country.
Okay. I've heard from stakeholders in my district that there are still inconsistencies in communication and process with regard to the clear eligibility requirements. Why has effective communication between VA and caregivers about eligibility been such a challenge for this program? Again, I hear from constituents on a regular basis.
Well, I think what we're learning is you can never communicate enough, and we just have to constantly be working at doing this better. One of the reasons why I established a Family Caregiver Advisory Committee was exactly for this. How do you find better ways to communicate? How do we find better ways to hear the feedback? And that committee, as I mentioned, met for the first time in October. Senator Dole chairs it. And I think we're learning a lot from that, exactly how to do a better job with communication.
Yeah, and we want to assist in getting the word out as well.
Yeah.
So please include us.
Thank you.
Again, how many enrolled caregivers have been disqualified or removed from the program? And again, for what reasons?
Yeah. It's currently now at about 192 a month, so we're probably on a run rate of 1,500 a year, just trying to do the math quickly. And the reasons why are, the good reasons why would be because the veteran has gotten better and doesn't need the services, doesn't meet the criteria. That would be the good reason. The bad reason would be because the initial decision wasn't the appropriate one. And so in these evaluations, which are done in multidisciplinary teams, they're coming up with these decisions. And we give the family and the veteran or the caregiver the right to appeal it, because we don't always get the revocations right. That's why I paused it. And I agree with what you're hearing. We still have a ways to go to make this program work better.
Okay, how long does it take, maybe the application, on the average, maybe somebody else can answer this question, Ms. Kabat, on the average, how long does it take, the application process and the appeals process? Because that's very important as well.
So about 85% of our applications are approved or denied within 120 days. And really, we have just a handful of sites who are not in that group. So we have targeted a lot of intervention and support and assistance to those particular sites who are struggling with that timeliness. beyond the average for the other sites.
Yeah, we've got to do better. Again, time is of the essence. So thank you very much again for thinking outside the box, Mr. Secretary, and again, putting our veterans first. Appreciate it very much. I yield back.
Thank you, gentlemen, for yielding. Ms. Esty, recognized.
Thank you, Chairman Rowe, and to the ranking member for holding today's hearing. I am one of the sponsors